Mayo buntag, mayo hapon, mayo gabi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Kamusta to all my Filipino friends. Hello to everybody. Welcome again to the Raw Facts. And today I'm doing another video, another information video. This one is part 3. And the amount of response that I've had in the last 2 videos is really overwhelming, and actually it does show that there seems to be quite a lot of foreigners who are interested in going to the Philippines and find the information that I'm giving very valuable. So actually today what I will do is I will talk a little bit. As I said, I wanted to talk about the culture in this video and also what to expect when you get to the Philippines. So basically, if you're going to travel to the Philippines, one of the things that I want to tell you first off is you don't need to be worried. The Philippines is a very safe country. You don't have to worry too much. A lot of what you hear on the news about like bombings and kidnappings and things like that, that is actually mostly down on Mindanao. And even in that, it's in a part of the island that is on another side of the mountain. And just to give you some perspective, if you were living in, let's say, New York or Miami, it's like to having gang violence in LA. So people may say, well, there's gang violence in the USA, but it's way down in LA and you're in New York. So it really has no effect on you. It doesn't bother you. It's the same thing if you are in Manila, Cebu, if you're in Ormoc, Negros, Oriental, Occidental, Dumaguete, any of these places, you're very safe. Of course, you have to take normal precautions, but you're pretty safe. Nobody's going to kidnap you. Nobody's going to kill you, anything like that. So basically, going to the Philippines, you can put that aside. You don't have to worry about that. Now, many foreigners may be looking for a Filipina, and or you may have a Filipina already. And one of the things that you should be aware of is when you start talking to your Filipina, you have to find out where she is and what are the logistics in getting to her from the main airport or the main city. So for example, if you came into Cebu or Manila, let's work with Cebu. If you came into Cebu and she is one of the on the other islands, number one, you can get a plane directly international to Cebu or Manila. The other islands that may have smaller airports, you may not get or you will not get an international flight. Further to that, even if you take a domestic flight, it is a little bit time consuming and tedious. And then if you come in with luggage internationally and you go to do a domestic, it's a little bit complicated. So you need to find out where your Filipina is. So if you land in Cebu, do you need to take a fast craft or ocean jet or something to get to her island? And once you take that fast craft, which may take you another couple hours, and you get to the port in that island that she's at, where is she in relation to that port? She may be inland somewhere, and you may have to now take a bus or something else for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours ride. And a bus in the Philippines on these province islands is not like a bus in the USA or in Canada or even the UK or Australia. The buses can be 20, 30, 40 years old. The seats are steel, there's no aircon. So it's not a very nice ride. So one of the first things you need to do is find out where your Filipina is in relation to Cebu or Manila. Now, the other thing that you have to realize is when you go to the Philippines and you arrive there, you literally metamorph into Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or one of these billionaires. This is the treatment you will get, and this is how you will be there. No matter what your status is in the US, you may be a retiree with a minimal pension, but once you arrive in the Philippines and you land, you automatically, to all Filipina, you are looked at as dollar signs. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, you're one of these people. Now, talking to a Filipina over the internet that you met on a dating site or otherwise, you may think that you have hit it big, you've hit the lottery. Look at this lovely Filipina that's willing to talk to you, and you're blessed. But once you get to the Philippines, you're going to find out that you are in high demand. And the way I would put it for you is in the US, Canada, UK, and Australia, you are an old tilapia that is in no use or need. When you get to the Philippines, you become the goldfish in the tilapia pond. You're in high demand. So you can get to the Philippines and you can have pretty much your pick of many, many girls. You get there and you land, you go to the malls, you go to the various shopping centers. Anywhere you go, the girls are going to be all over you. You're living in the US, Canada, UK, Australia, maybe 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, and you would be hard up to even find a woman 50, 60, or 70 years that would give you the time of day. You land in the Philippines and you will, at the snap of your fingers, get an 18-year-old beautiful girl that's willing to marry you and start calling you hun from day two. I have met Vietnam vets there who's in a guy who's in a wheelchair and missing two legs with a beautiful 18-year-old Filipina along with him. One of the things that you have to understand, and you may not understand, is the poverty in the Philippines. There are no words to describe it. I cannot even describe it. And if some of you maybe speak to your Filipina from the province and she goes to the internet cafe, many times she may say she doesn't have money to use the computer. She doesn't have money to rent the computer, which is 40 or 50 pesos or 20 pesos an hour, which is $1 for us over here, $1 US. And you're going to find that very hard to believe that somebody does not have $1. You're going to find it hard to believe when they say they don't have food and they may have to borrow a cup of rice somewhere just to eat rice. Once you get to the Philippines and you see the extent of the poverty, this is one of the reasons that all these young girls are literally dying to get a foreigner. No matter how old, decrepit, whatever, he's going to get a beautiful 18-year-old girl or 19-year-old girl that will want to make him her husband. And the thing about it is, I'm not saying you're looking for an 18-year-old. You can get a 20, 30. I mean, if you're 50 and you want a 40-year-old girl or a 30-year-old girl, you may get that. But I'm just letting you know that the pickings are great in the Philippines. Don't think because you're chatting to one Filipina from overseas that she is like the one and only catch you'll ever have. And if she goes away, that's it. It's gone. So you have to keep in mind, as I say, the Philippines is very safe. Once you get there, you can easily get a Filipina. You don't even need to be chatting a Filipina. You want to board a plane and go to the Philippines, you follow through my information videos. I'm going to tell you once you land there, it's very easy to book a hotel room. There's Radisson, there's the Shangri-La, there's Waterfront Hotel. These are nice hotels in Cebu. They're in Manila. There's the Hilton. There's the Dusit-Thani. These are all beautiful hotels. You go, you spend, you'll get a month visa when you land, and you go to the hotel, and then you go and you explore the city, you explore the place, even you go to the resorts, anywhere, you're going to find that girls are going to be flocking to you. You're going to meet girls. You take your time and you find a girl. One of the things that you're going to find, even with your Filipina that you may be chatting now, once she is chatting to you or she's in touch with you, she's going to want to hold on to you for dear life. So if you pick up a Filipina and you make a commitment, they're not going to want to let you out of their sight. It's like winning the Powerball lottery in the US. You don't want to let go of that $100 million ticket for nothing. So basically, the things that you have to take away from this is that don't feel pressured that the first Filipina that sends you a message on wherever it may be, any dating site, that you have to grasp onto her for life. And don't feel that if you go to the Philippines, you're going to find yourself in a position of worry or crime or whatever. As I said, if you go to any of these hotels, it's very nice. You take a taxi, you can go to the city, you can go to the malls. The taxis are very safe, the cities are very safe. And the only thing you'll have, the taxi may try to pull one on you. Keep in mind when you get in a taxi, make sure you tell the guy put his meter on, because he's going to want to tell you, well, flat price, because traffic and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, the taxi fare is very cheap. So if you take a taxi in Manila or even in Cebu, your furthest ride, maybe, I don't know, 300 pesos, $6. So it's nothing. Most of the rides are like $1 something. Taxi is extremely cheap in the Philippines. So what I usually do is I tell them put the meter on, because I want the meter on. And then if the thing comes to 120 or 220, I just give them, 200 or 300. I rounds it off. Even give them 100 pesos tip. It's $2. It's no big deal. So the thing about it is that you'll face that kind of thing, in the stores, in the mall. Nobody's going to rip you off. You're going to get a bill. If you're walking on the street, you have to be careful. A lot of these little kids come around you and, asking you for help, asking you for something. You have to be careful of getting pickpocketed. So you want to get a bag, what they call these, like a shoulder bag or these waist bags. Keep it in front, keep your hand on it. Don't leave stuff in your back pocket. I wanted to talk a lot about the culture today, but I just wanted to touch on these couple things for you to reach to the Philippines, meet your Filipina, and then what to do. I'm going to take up on the next information video about after you've gotten there and you've met your Filipina, what to expect and how to move forward from there. This video has already gone over 10 minutes and I don't want to have them very long. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you got some good information out of this. Salamat, my Filipino friends, and God bless to everybody.